At this time, I'd like to introduce the first speaker, Deborah.
Truly give thanks to, thank you. Truly give thanks to my higher power, for I choose to call God. Truly grateful to be here at another convention. Welcome to any newer members. You are the most important person. Just keep coming and don't use no matter what. You know, my topic is step 6. We were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. And earlier today, we was talking about the defects of character. And in this first line, it says, why ask for something? Why ask for something before you are ready for it? And you know, that's what I do. I ask for things before I'm ready, and then I have to ask God to remove it. Because I thought that I was ready for some different things that's going on in my life, and I have to surrender to the God of my understanding and say, God, I thought I was ready for this, but could you just do this for me again? Remove this situation because I'm really not ready for it. And whatever I ask my God for, he do it. He don't say he gonna do it in my time, but he do it in his time, but his own time. So that's the kind of God that I serve, y'all. And talking about the character defects, and it tells me in step 6, it tells me about rebellious. And I had been thinking about this rebellious part, and I have been rebellious for so long. If I had just listened at what my mama was telling me, I wouldn't have ended up in Narcotics Anonymous in the first place. If I had just listened to her, she said, don't hang out with Pat and don't hang out with Diane. They ain't good for you. And I'm like, Mama, you really don't know that these people is the ones that I want to hang out with. And me not knowing that Diane and Pat and them wasn't good for me, I might not been good for them. But my mama didn't know that part. She just looked at, they not good for you. And in that, I kept hanging out with Diane and Pat and them, and 30 years later, I ended up in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. And that's not what I planned on doing. I didn't plan on being a drug addict. You know how when you grow up and you say, well, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, or I want to be a school teacher. And I never said I wanted to be a drug addict. But not doing what Mom and Daddy told me to do, this is where I end up at, which is not a bad place. It's a place that I have to accept that's where I'm at in this process of recovery, y'all. And I do step work. I'm a stepper. I do step work with my sponsor. I done had my sponsor now for 20 years, and I didn't have to change sponsors. I just had to change me. My sponsor was giving me all that she could, and she still do, Connie. It's just that I have to be open-minded and willingness to accept what she said. You know how it was when we was out there using, and I listen at what the dope man said, but when I get in here, I don't want to listen at what y'all said. Y'all can't tell me nothing, but yes you can. All I got to do is listen at what you're saying and take some suggestions. And a lot of us, me, didn't want to take suggestions in when I first got here, but today I take suggestions. And sometimes you don't need to suggest to me, you need to tell me what to do, because I'm one of them hard-headed addicts, right? And when I came in here, I was so hard-headed, I didn't want you to suggest, because I'd take your suggestion and throw it out the window. But if you tell me what to do, which my sponsor was telling me what to do, through me paying attention to her, I came up on 20 years clean, with not a suggestion, with being told what to do. You know, it tells us about letting go of these defects of characters, and it tells me about the willingness to, do I really want to be rid of resentment, anger, and fear? And yeah, I really do, because the resentment is not at you, the resentment is at me. And I don't want to hold myself hostage at being mad with you and you going on about your business and I'm still holding on to some resentments. Resentments alter my mood and my mind. You know, it don't have to be the drug that's a mood or mind altering substance. A person can be a mood or mind altering substance. And I today don't allow a person, Loretta, to be a mood of mine or to something, because I'm the one that quickly, I surrender on a regular basis. I surrender on a daily basis. I throw up my hand, throw up the white flag and say, it's a wrap. I'm not going to keep holding on to anger and resentment. I don't want to be angry. You know, anger can take you from A to Z if you just go straight out, just gone. I'm so pissed off, and I don't want to live like that ever again in my life. Even though anger is a mood of mind or to substance too, but it's a reality. We do get anger. Fear is false evidence appearing real. I don't have to be as fearful as I was a few 24 hours ago. I'm not as fearful as I was a few 24 hours ago. These steps are what's really working in my life. You know, recovery is what? An active change of ideas, attitudes, and behaviors. So if it's actively changing, I have to actively change in it. I have to actively change my old ways. And it tells me in the literature, I have to completely change my old ways, or I'll go back to using. And they're not only talking about the dope. They're talking about changing people, places, and situations. So I have to change my old ways to become this new person and have this new way of life. And y'all, that's what I continue to do on a regular basis. I'm a person that wanted to be accepted by everybody, but didn't know how to accept myself. Today, I'm learning how to accept myself on a deeper level. That's why I am so entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. And being real honest, I don't even know what all of my defects of character are until y'all point it out to me. And then when y'all say, you need to change this, well, why are you in my inventory? You know, that's where I want to go with it. Why are you in my inventory? Why you just can't stay in your inventory? Now I done got rebellious and I done got resentful because you pointed out something in me that I'm ready to change, or I'm not ready to change, or I really didn't even know that I needed to change. See, other people could tell you what you need to do, I want to say, and not do what they need to do for themselves, because I could take your inventory. I just don't want you to take mine. And I'm real good at that, but I'm getting better. You know, dealing with another recovering addict, it's like it's 4 diseases in my house. It's mine and my husband and our disease of addiction. So I don't try as much to change my husband the way I used to when we had first got married. I wanted him to change. I want you to be the way that I want you to be. But after being there and being in my marriage for almost 10 years, I would want to change him back. See, I ain't said God changed him. I'm saying that I wanted to change him. So what I had to do was turn it over to God and let God, I know that my husband is not going to change. He's going to rebel because I'm telling him what to do. And most men and women don't change because of their partner. We're going to rebel against our partner telling us what to do. I am. Let me talk about me. I would, when my husband tell me or suggestion, he'll say, oh, it's only a suggestion, right? You is trying to tell me what to do. So now you're going to use the program. It's only a suggestion. No, you trying to tell me what to do. So I'm going to rebel because you trying to tell me what to do. And being entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. You know, they tell us that in this program, some of us need help beyond the tables. And I'm one of the ones that go get help beyond the tables. I'm in therapy. You know, I go to my therapist every other Tuesday. I was going every Tuesday. I was seeing a psychiatrist. We come around here and say, well, I'm not crazy. For me to shoot dope in my neck and in my groin, something had to be wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? And then we come around here and say, ain't nothing wrong with me. Yes, it is. If you sitting in the Narcotics Anonymous, if you sitting at a table with me, something is wrong with you. You didn't get here you did not get here. You did not get here on good behavior. You got here because something was wrong with you. And when you walk through them doors, we know something is wrong with you. I don't care what you said, you keep coming and you're gonna find out that something is wrong with you. We already know that something is wrong with you. So I know that when I came through these doors, I don't care what I tried to hide. When I came through these doors, y'all said something is wrong with Deborah. And I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with me, ain't nothing wrong with me. But as I kept coming, and they told me that when I came here, I was gonna meet a stranger. And I thought the stranger was y'all, but the stranger was me. So after being here a few 24 hours, now I understand that meeting this stranger is meeting me. So I had to completely change the old me, because what I was doing in my active addiction that made sense, it just don't make sense in recovery. It don't make sense for me to get my hair done and don't pay the light bill. My hair is pretty, but I can't see it because I'm in the dark, right? It don't make sense for me to drive up and down the street today without no license. It don't make sense, right? So I had to go to the Secretary of State, pass the test that I never passed until I got clean. Pass the test, go get some license, go get some insurance, and go get some registration, and that way you can be legal, right? It just, things that just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense for me to have food in the house for my son, because I'm saying that he ain't hungry because I gotta go get a blow, right? It just don't make sense. And today, bless you, today my son is 34 years old, and he loved his mama. You know, bless you. When we used, we said that we was only hurting ourselves, but everybody I came in contact with, I affected them in one way or another. So I'm not as infected or trying to infect anybody because I ain't using. I don't ever want to use, and the literature tell me that I don't ever have to use again as long as I work the program of Narcotics Anonymous. You know, I'm gonna share about what God had gave me to share about. You know how we come into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous and we have to change. And the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous for me, y'all, is a hospital. You know, and it's for sick people that's trying to get better, right? And in this hospital, in the hospital, we go to the hospital, right? And the first thing we do is go to triage, right? And we go to triage to do the paperwork, right? And then from triage, we go to admitting, right? So we go to admitting and we do more paperwork, right? And then they admit you in the hospital, either you in critical condition, you in ICU, or you in a coma, right? And you have to go through that. So you on one of those floors, right? You in critical condition in here, you in ICU in here, or you in a coma, and still in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, right? And so when we go through through those three, you in one of them, then you go into your room, and then they bring you from your room to a step down, right? And in the surgery, no, let me back up. You going into surgery, right? And then they put you in critical condition, ICU, or you in a coma. And then they put you in your room. Then you go in your room and you come out your room and you go to step down, right? And you go to another floor. And from that floor, you go into recovery, right? You're going into the room of recovery, right? And in that room, either you're going through the wounds that you're going through inside, because I know when my mother told us, take those Band-Aid off so that wound can get some air, right? Remember how Mama used to say, take the Band-Aid off of that scab so the wound can get some air. But the wound looked like it's healed from the outside, right? But it's not. The wound is still wounded on the inside because it haven't went through the healing, right? So so the wound is not healed. So we go into recovery, and we're going into recovery, and then we come out of recovery, and where you go? They discharge you, right? You're going into discharge, right? So in discharge, what do they give you? They give you a prescription, right? And the prescription is not to get Vicodin. The prescription is make 90 meetings in 90 days, right? Get yourself a home group, right? Get yourself a sponsor. A lot of us put the prescription on the desk or on the table, and we don't get the prescription filled, right? So we don't do the process of recovery. We don't get a home group. We don't get our 90 meetings in 90 days. We don't get none of that. We just put the prescription out on the table. And then we don't go into the process of recovery because we are still wounded with the wounds that we have within us. A lot of me, I walked around here and looked like a mummy for almost 20 years because I was so band-aid up. You know, mummies had band-aids on them, right? They wrapped up in all of this band-aid, right? And the band-aids is coming off, Loretta, piece by piece. And if you can understand what I'm talking about, some of us need to take the Band-Aid off of the wound and let the process of recovery, let the process start the healing, right? We are not healed because we're still walking around with Band-Aids on us and we still covered up the wound. That recovery is an inside job. It's not what we look like, because a lot of us is walking around, we looking like we are right, but the healing process, Philip, is on the inside. So you got to start the process of recovery on the inside. I am today not as resentful because I done took the Band-Aid off the resentment. I am not as fearful because I done took the Band-Aid off of being fear, even though I can go back, but the Band-Aid don't stay on as long. I can go back to the fears, I can go back to the anger, I can go back to the resentment, I could go back to not being so prideful. You know, and that's another one of my character defects. I don't want to ask anybody for anything, or now I ask people for help. Because in the beginning I was so prideful, and it wasn't that I was so prideful, I didn't want to be told no. So I'm not going to ask you so you don't have the option to tell me no because I'm not asking you for help. Now I can accept no. If you can't help me, it's just that you can't help me. You know how, when somebody dies, somebody says, well, if you need any help, just call me. If you need anything, just call me. So I tried that, Loretta. I called people and asked them for some help, and they said, well, I don't have that. Well, then why did you tell me to call you if I needed some help? Well, today I call people for other reasons, and I really do. I call people to ask for help, and I'm the type of person that I'm going to help people. That's how I get outside of myself. I get outside of myself by helping others. That's what makes me feel good in my process of recovery, is because I do help others. That's what I come entirely ready to have God remove the defects of character. I'm not saying that I don't have none. I'm just saying that I'm working on them on a regular basis. Even when I don't know that I'm working on my character defects, I'm working on them because it's not what a person said to me, it's how I respond to what that person said or do. It's my response to any situation that I'm going through. How am I responding to it? I can respond healthy or I can respond unhealthy. Most of the time now I respond. Sometimes I don't respond at all, and that's healthy for me. Because sometimes I'll say something that I can't take back. I have to be careful in my split second. Because in a split second, I could be in jail, in the institution, or dead. You have to watch your split second. I watch my split second. And another thing I do, Rob, is I stay in my lane. I don't try to get out of my lane to get over into your lane. No, I'm staying in my lane. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do most of the time. Now, I'm not standing up here saying, y'all, that I'm perfect, but I'm working on me in the process of recovery. I'm doing some work. I'm doing the 4th step. I'm doing the 5th step. I'm doing the 6th step. And my sponsor tell me, you can work all of the steps that you want to, but if you're not applying them to your life, you just working steps. When do you start applying the step work to your life? And I have like 7 or 8 sponsees, and they all do step work. So when they do step work, I'm doing step work, right? I go back to step one, because what step one meant to me 20 years ago, it have a whole different meaning to me now. One of them might be on the 4th step. One of them might be on the 6th step. So I'm enhancing my recovery every time I work step work with my sponsees and with my sponsor. I sit on the floor with my sponsor and do a 5th step, because the 4th step is just merely writing about the 4th step. I go and they say get somebody, get a recovering addict, get your sponsor, or get somebody that's at the bus stop. I'm always getting my sponsor to do step work and do my 4th or 5th step with me. And she said you have to work the 4th step over, the 5th step, and the 10th step. So I do them on a daily basis. I'm doing the 4th step and I journal. I journal every day. I write about me every day. I write about my feelings and my emotions. That's what I'm entirely ready to have God do for me, is remove the fear and the anger and the resentments that I have. I think I have them at other people, but who I'm really angry at is myself, because I can do so much for you and I lack me. And that's what my therapist said. You take care of other people and you get mad at yourself because you didn't have the courage to say, I don't want to take care of you. I want to take care of me. And I do. I help other people, but I take care of Deborah. You know, y'all said that I'm the most important person. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting, which is true. But I'm the most important person in my life. I have to take care. If I can't take care of me, then I can't possibly help to take care of you. It's got to be some nurturing within myself. I got to nurture myself before I can even begin to nurture you. So this program, y'all, is truly working in my life. And that's because why? I stay in position for it to work. If I'm out of position, I can't work the steps. I stay in position. I'm doing what I need to do for my recovery. I don't just talk about recovery. Come to my house and you'll see how I'm living. We can talk about I'm doing this and I'm doing that, but follow some of us home. In fact, ask my husband, because he lived with me. And he could tell you about my recovery more so than I could tell you. Yeah, my wife is working on change. And I am. I don't ever want to stay the same. I love change. I change my hair, I change my clothes, I change my car. I'm always traveling now. I'm going here and I'm going there. And that's what I like to do. I don't like staying the same. I stayed the same for 27, 30 years while I was out there using. I stood up on Mac and Bewick for those 30 years and nothing changed. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. You got to change. Or what? Or you're going to continue to do the same thing. You know, step 2 tell us that. Insanity is repeating the same thing, expecting different results. I don't expect nothing different if I'm doing the same thing. How can I possibly be expecting a different situation if I'm doing the same thing? So I gotta change. And that's what I do, Philip. I change. And people, I know it's a lot of people that I do love, and I love everybody. A lot of people don't like, and it's not me that they don't like, it's the spirit that's within me. And I know that. I'm not saying, but it's more people that love me and like me than not. So I can't focus on who don't like me. I can't focus on that, because I'm gonna keep going to the ones, even if you don't like me, it don't mean that I don't like you. It don't mean that. I'm gonna come up to you and hug you anyway. And a simple hug, the literature said, a simple hug can make all the difference in the world. And I hug everybody. That's just who I am. I'm a hugger, I'm a greeter. I like doing that. I like having fun, because out there using, it wasn't no fun. It was a job that I never got off. I didn't get no holiday pay. I didn't get no vacation time. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting no time off. I didn't get no severance pay. I ain't get none of that. So that was a job that I never got off. But now that I'm in recovery, my life has changed. Oh my God. It have did a wonderful change. for me, and that's what I love about me. And I was sharing with Marie and them today how I done fell in love with myself. I'm continuing to fall in love with myself. When I first came to this program, I didn't like myself. I didn't like y'all, but as I kept coming and as I kept getting with these steps, I learned to like and fall in love with myself. A lot of us can't say that, but I can say it today. I could say it with some gratitude. I got so much of peace going on in my life. You know, you can buy a whole lot of things, but you can't buy peace. And in this step 6 is tell us about the peace and the serenity. I have some peace and serenity going on in my life today. And I'm grateful for that. Oh, y'all just don't know how grateful to have some peace, to where things don't bother me, Connie, as much as they used to. I'm not as affected about what you think about me. What happens with me is how I care about myself. It's not what you think about me, it's what I think about myself. Because at the end of the day, you ain't with me, I'm with me. At the end of the day, I don't close the door with y'all, I close the door with me. I be on the other side of the door with my husband. So that's what matters to me. Even though I love y'all, but I can't take y'all home with me, and I don't want to go home with y'all. I really don't, because I don't know what's on the other side of your door. You know what I'm saying? When I first got married, and was going through some trials and tribulations, my husband didn't want to come home. Guess what? His wife didn't either. We sit out there in the driveway, or sit in the parking lot, and in the driveway, and say, "Do I really want to go in the house? Do I really want to go? For real, I got to go in the house and deal with him?" Well, he's sitting out there saying, "Do I really want to go in the house and deal with her?" And we in the bed, and we so far apart in the bed that if we turn, we'll fall out the bed. You know what I'm saying? And it's like an expressway in the house. We passing each other and not even talking to each other. Today, we are, oh my God, we are in the bed so close, and we got a king size bed, and I had to call him on the cell phone and say, "Honey, come over and visit me." You know what I'm saying? Come over in the bed, and now we laughing and talking, and it took some time. It took some time, and I'm in therapy, and my husband is in therapy, and you know what it was, y'all, is that we were two broken peoples trying to be one, and we were two broken vessels. Now that I'm still in therapy, my husband said he's okay, but I better still go because I ain't okay. I know I'm not okay. I know I'm still sick. And my husband is in this program, and he's coming up on 25 years in this process. But he feel like he okay. He is okay to him. I just know that I'm not okay, that I still need some help. So I continue to go, and that's what makes me feel better about myself. Menopause done went to an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? And it's not menopause, it's men on pause. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was for me. My husband was on pause. I couldn't deal with him then, but today, Robert, I can deal. I love talking and playing and that too with my husband. You know what I'm saying? We are right to sit in the same room. You know what I'm saying? And not attack each other. We talk to each other, and that's what this step work is doing for me. We talking to each other opposed to talking at each other. We having a relationship. We having a marriage. So this program is working in our life, and that's what I'm so happy about, y'all. Some days I be in critical condition. Some days I'm in ICU. Some days I'm in a coma. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on what day. But one thing that I know that I am is I'm in recovery. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking the Band-Aids off. I'm in the process of recovery. Recovery is an inside job. It's not what I said, it's what I'm doing. How am I living? When we come around here, we talk about how good we living, but no, we trying to save face. We wearing so many masks. I don't want to wear the mask. And they tell us in step 5, the masks have to go. We are such shaky, insecure people. I'm not as insecure. You know what I am today? I'm confident. You know, I'm not cocky. I'm confident in myself. And I didn't used to be confident. I'm confident to say that I'm drop down dead gorgeous. I couldn't used to say that about me. You know what I'm saying? Because I always thought that I was the ugly duckling. But I am so cute to me today. You know what I'm saying? I am so, for real, I am so drop down dead gorgeous to me. Even if my husband don't see it. Some days he don't feel like seeing it, but that don't take nothing away from me. I still have to look in the mirror, and you know Michael Jackson said, a man in the mirror. Who is you really looking at? I'm looking at me, and I'm talking about me. You know, it's 3 sides to every story, Philip. It's my side and his side, and it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? It is. There's 3 sides to every story. The sponsor hear one side, the other sponsor hear the other side, but then you got the truth. It's your side, his side, and the truth. So there's some truth in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just being honest. I want to tell the truth. You can get so honest, but you still don't tell the truth. So I want to tell the truth on me, because that's what frees me. I am so freed up because I don't have the secrets that I used to have. The program said secrets is what keep us sick. The program ain't keeping us sick. The secrets is what keep you sick. So I'm not as sick as I can be. I'm getting so much better. Oh my God, and I'm loving being out here at this Camp Mac. I'll never forget Camp Mac. And through God's grace and his mercy, I'll be back next year. So I'm gonna keep coming, y'all. I hope, you know, if didn't nobody get it, I did. Thanks for letting me share.
Our second speaker, Brian.
Hey family, I'm an addict named Brian. Thank Derek, I know he's not here, but thank him for pinning me as soon as I walked in and said, you know, hey, I said, this is cool, I'm at a convention and I'm not speaking. And he said, oh, do you want to speak? I didn't, but I wasn't sure why. And kind of like what she was talking about and somebody was talking about earlier, our motivations for stuff, I didn't really have a good reason not to. So I said yes. The topic of the workshop, and I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful to my higher power who encouraged me to be here. I'm definitely in triage this weekend, you know, with my mom passing and me not knowing where the hell to go, and that's kind of, so I came here because of that, you know. The topic of this workshop is becoming entirely ready, entirely. And I find myself resistant to talk up here about this topic, and I realize, like, if anybody else has been through like a TC unit, you heard of what's called a negative contract. Has anybody heard of a negative contract? Yeah, right? So like, and I want permission to tell on us about our negative contract that we have amongst ourselves when it comes to this topic, when it comes to the 6th step and the 2nd step. And our negative contract is, amongst ourselves, is that we're terrified of success. We're not that afraid of failure. We're used to failure. We're good at it. We're comfortable and familiar with failure. We're terrified of success. And when we succeed, you know, we come up to the podium all the time and we talk about all the dumb things we've done and how stupid we feel when we do it, and we get humble and we get honest and we get real and we say, yeah, right on, man. You know, I'm glad you were honest. But when we get up here and we talk about our successes, we go, whatever. You know, we start like, oh, listen to them, they're so cocky. Listen to them, they think they know something. Listen to them talk about, oh, they're good, they love themselves, or they got a good job, or blah blah. We do that, you know, that we do. We get upset by each other's success, right? Misery loves company. So when we do well, our first response is to say, no, get the hell back down here with us, right? Remember, we're supposed to be miserable recovering addicts. Right, and that's what we do. We do that. If you think about it, think about what happens when any one of us says we're going to quit smoking. What do we say? Okay, sure you are. You know? Seriously, right? Now, what if we did that to someone who said, I'm trying to quit dope? I'm trying to stop shooting dope in my arm. Okay, whatever, dude. Please, here, have one on me. That's what we do. Whatever, dude. You're not going to quit smoking. There's a packet right here if you want it, just so you know. It's here. You know? And it's scary that we do that, but we do. And we joke about it. And the reason why I said I'm hesitant to talk about this topic is because I want to get up here and I want to talk about the sixth step. I want to talk about becoming entirely ready. And when we start talking about becoming entirely ready, we're going to stop talking about drugs and we're going to start talking about all the other things that we have to take care of for ourselves so that we can actually recover and find freedom. Now, our literature talks about the one promise being freedom. And we get here and we get clean. And we say it all the time. The steps don't get you clean. They give you something. They give you the foundation of health and freedom once we get clean. Now, the sixth step can't get me clean. That's not going to work. I have to be here already. But there are all these other things that come when we get here that can bring us to freedom. And I want to talk about the things that I've worked on with the sixth step that have brought me to a greater point of freedom. And not because I want people to look at me and roll their eyes or because I think I'm better than anybody. Because when Mom died, all I wanted to do was destroy myself. So I know I'm not better than anybody in this room. When she died, all that recovery and all that, because here's the thing, I stay clean for a few cups of coffee. Right? And the disease talks to me, right? Because I've been clean 3 times longer than the time I got high. So the disease tells me that, and I haven't had any trauma in my life, so I think that I'm emotionally stable. The truth was, I just didn't have anything bad happen for a really long time. Because the second Mom died, I lost my mind. I lost my mind. And I didn't know what to do with myself. And I spent 2 days wandering around crying, saying, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know where I am. You people, do you want to do this? Okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I went to meetings. I get it now. 14 years I didn't get it till now why it's called a program. Because when something went wrong and I had no idea what to do, I was programmed to do certain things. I was programmed to go to a meeting and, well, why are you going to a meeting? I have no idea. I have no idea why I'm going to a meeting. Because I was told to go to a meeting. This doesn't need me to make it. I don't need to get it. Right? Why are you? I call my sponsor every day. I had nothing to say. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. Right? But I called him because I was told that's what I'm supposed to do. But that's what happened when we get hit with this emotional stuff and it all comes back and I'm reminded of who the hell I am and where the hell I'm from. Because my brother's in active addiction. And when she died, he did what we do. And I was envious. I was so envious of him that night. I was worried about whether or not he was going to destroy himself, and I was envious that I didn't get to destroy myself too. Right? I hadn't had a using feelings like that in a long time. My mom died from smoking. I wanted a square. Right? No connection there at all. I wanted a square, you know? And the thing is, and we talk about it all the time, man, and this is related to the sixth step for me. And when we talk about our, becoming entirely ready to get better and be free, our disease, we talk about how our disease wants to kill us. It doesn't want to kill us. It wants to play in our guts. You know what I mean? It wants to, have you ever heard of the old story, the Count of Monte Cristo, right? He doesn't just get vengeance. He does, the disease wants to wait until you have grandchildren, buy your grandchild a puppy, wait a year, kill it, and frame you. That's what it wants to do, right? That's the disease of addiction, right? The disease of addiction wants to wait until, wait 20 years and then until you have a kid and hit them in the face or burn your house down. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it works. It doesn't just kill us. You know what I mean? It toyed with my mom for 6 years. It watched my mom suffocate to death for 6 years, right? Because of active addiction. Not to drugs, guys. Not to drugs. That was that active addiction. And 6 years later, with Pseudomonas and emphysema and lung or throat cancer and fungus growing in her lungs and all this other stuff, once it was done playing with her guts, then it killed her, right? My brother's still getting played with. He's still out playing in traffic, getting played with by this disease, getting thrown through glass tables, you know what I mean, and in front of cars and getting hurt and maimed all the time, drinking until he can't drink anymore. It's not done with him. It doesn't kill us. It plays with us till we're dead. It's really, really creepy. It's really creepy. And being clean doesn't save us from that. Being clean, because the disease still plays with us. The disease is what's talking every time we say, go work your own program. Leave me alone. That, you know what I mean? Or I'm right where I'm supposed to be. We're never supposed to say we're right where we're supposed to be. That's so creepy, right? When we say that, Somebody else is supposed to say that. Somebody is supposed to tell us where we're at. We're not supposed to tell ourselves. It's creepy, you know? But we do. And every time we choose something that we've decided we're not going to work on, I'm not ready to work on that. I'm not willing to work on that. It talks about it in our book, right at the beginning of the 6th step, which is some of the most, I believe, one of the most powerful paragraphs in our entire book is at this beginning of the 6th step. She said it. She hit it right on. I was right there with you. Why ask for something before we're ready for it? Right? It says here, letting go of character defects should be done decisively. We suffer because their demands weaken us. Now remember, these are things we think we like. These are things that we think we enjoy. These are things that we choose to do over and over again because we say, I'm not ready, right? Where we were proud, we find that we cannot get away with arrogance. If we're not humble, we're humiliated. If we're greedy, we find that we're never satisfied. It's never enough. Before taking 4 and 5, we could indulge in fear, which is, I'm scared to change. Anger, which is, screw you if you tell me I need to. Dishonesty, I'm just fine where I'm at. And self-pity, you wouldn't change either if you had it as bad as me, right? Now, indulgence in these character defects cloud our ability to think logically. Selfishness becomes an intolerable, destructive chain that ties us to our bad habits. This is why some of us with lots of clean time don't go out and use, we kill ourselves. Because we have an intolerable destructive chain. Our defects drain us of all of our time and energy. I didn't, and this is where I get to the point where I've been able to apply stuff in this program to things other than drugs. And as a result of it, my life is better. And I'm afraid to say things out loud because I think people are going to act like I'm being a big eye. But man, I'm not. I just want to grab everybody and shake people and be like, did you know this is possible? You know this can happen, that the life is actually this good, that we have such an opportunity here. But we're so afraid of success that we tell ourselves there's some sort of glass ceiling that isn't really there. When I say things like, oh, I'm not ready to change that, I have to ask myself, the reason I lost I was in a relationship when I got clean and they said no major changes, so I said, cool, I'll keep her. Right. And I went to a therapist, and she asked me this question: what about her is good for you? What about her makes you better? Oh crap. That was that statement, that question, the relationship was over within a week. It was done. When I had to ask the question, what about her makes you better? What about her is good for you? Okay. Right? So, what about, eating like a pig is good for me? What about squares is good for me? Right? What about cussing like a sailor? You know what I mean? Like, I had to learn how to stop cussing because I don't have a moderation chip. I know I'm not alone in this. I don't have a moderation chip, right? So I can't turn off cussing. You know what I mean? I remember being new and being in a family restaurant and parents everywhere are aghast because I drop F-bombs like Hiroshima. I can't stop because I don't know moderation. You know what I mean? And then when people say you should watch your mouth, hey man, this is a public place. Well, yeah, that's right. That's what we're saying. It's a public place. Shut up. So these are the things that you start looking at because it's, when it gets to a point where if I can't go to a job interview without cussing my brains out, I'm not going to get a job. If I can't stop smoking, like I love it when it was awesome. They started what was it? It was a 1-hour meeting they started in my area, which is like for NA, it was like a unicorn, right? You never see these. It's a 1-hour meeting. And when the chair people changed and a smoker started chairing the meeting, they made it a 1 hour and 15-minute meeting so that they could insert a smoke break into the 1-hour meeting because they couldn't go 1 hour without the cigarette, right? Smoke 3 of them before we go in, have it 15 minutes, go back out, smoke 2. And the 10-minute break, as you all know, as we all know, the 10-minute break's like at least 15, 20 minutes. Right? That's how we work that. But that's what we do. We come up with excuses. And here's the thing. These things that we think are little. And that's, it's not, I quit smoking. At 3 years clean, I quit smoking, because it was right around that time that Mom started having to get all this medication and treatment and all this stuff. Because it took her years to suffocate to death. And this is her thing that she wasn't ready to change, that she wasn't willing to work on. And there's plenty of people that are in this fellowship that are walking around with tubes in their noses that can tell you that they weren't ready to change that defect, right? And now they know what they're going to die from. Right. And that's the thing, is that it talks about how dangerous it is for us to pick the things we don't want to work on. We literally volunteer to restrict our freedom. We decide, I don't want freedom there. And we don't know we're doing it. To us, we actually think we're defending ourselves. We think that we're like saying, leave me alone, I'm comfortable here, this is what I want. But we forget that we like being uncomfortable. We like being sick, we like being unhappy, we're used to that. We'll take that over unfamiliar possibility of success. So when somebody says like, hey, maybe you should stop, because I used to drink energy drinks like more than water, like just all the time. Well, energy drink coffee. I'm clean, but I look like I'm on bad acid. I'm just like, is this a good dance? Yes! Yeah! That's the guys, when we do the clean time countdown and you see the guys going, right? Three monsters in that guy, right? And shouldn't we be weary of anything called like a monster? All that stuff. I looked at, I applied this stuff to how I speak. I applied this stuff to how I take care of my body. I've been told over and over again that my family has crappy hearts. So I have a choice, whether or not to leave my wife alone. Right? So am I going to actively choose to make my wife be without me, die sooner, because I don't feel like getting off the damn couch and maybe going for a jog or something? You know what I mean? Like all these little things, because this is where the freedom comes from. My life isn't any worse for getting in shape. My life isn't any worse for losing weight. My life isn't any worse for quitting smoking. My life isn't any worse for learning how not to cuss. My life isn't any worse for learning that judging other people just makes me sick and miserable. And my life isn't any worse for any of these things. But we act like it will be. We act like it will be. When we bring it to each other, we're so afraid of and that's the thing, here's our negative contract. If we bark loud enough, if I bark loud enough when you bring me things I need to work on, I can train you to leave me alone. And that's what we do. Because I found myself sitting at a meal today with somebody who said something that I thought maybe I should respond to. And I'm trained. I was like, well, I don't know her that well, and maybe she doesn't want to hear it, and it's none of your business, and la 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 la. So what? Right? So what? Maybe she gets mad at me. That's cool. I would rather you be pissed at me and clean than think I'm a swell guy and go get loaded. Right? That's what we're supposed to do. The book says it's our eyes and ears. It's funny how we start talking about the sensitive newcomers these days. Like, be careful how you bring. We're drug addicts, man. There's nothing sensitive about us. You know what I mean? Like when we get here and we're like, work the steps or die. And easy. Why? Isn't that what happens? Right? We either work the steps or we die, internally and then externally. We go back out. Me and JJ were talking yesterday. The best gift you can get is when you get to the point in recovery where you tell people you're a recovering addict and they don't believe you. Right? I'm so square. People don't believe me. Right? We're sitting at dinner last night and I felt like is there any fruits or vegetables available here for me to eat? Right? Like I'm a health nerd. My wife has got me so well programmed, are there any fruit? We're chilling, man. We got pizza, we got cookies. Everybody's like, pizzas and cookies, right? And here I am going, excuse me, are there any leafy vegetables? And people are like, shut up! You know what I'm saying? Shut up, man. You are harshing our gig. Look at do you see how many cookies were in that bin? Holy crap. And even though there was that many cookies, I was worried there wouldn't be enough. I was going back before I was done with the cookies I already had. I want to talk about humility before I get down. I know we don't have a lot of time. I want to talk about humility. And we always hear honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. We hear it so much that we start drowning it out. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just this thing we hear over and over again. I believe that honesty and open-mindedness are the two components to humility. If we have humility and we have willingness, we will stay clean. That's a guarantee. We will stay clean if we have humility. Humility means I don't know. Right? And willingness means you might, and I'll try to, let me throw something at me, and, we'll see if it sticks, and I'll see if it can make my life better, right? Because anytime we find ourselves going, I know, I already know this, I know, right? That's not humility. That is not us being humble, right? Humble is when we got nothing to say. Right? And humble, they say if we're not humble, we're humiliated. Honestly, humiliated isn't so bad either because it's better than being cocky and high. I'd rather be humiliated. You know, I've learned in recovery I can shove both feet in my mouth at the same time. It's cool. You know what I mean? It's cool. And that's what I need to stay humble, because we take every positive aspect. It talks about that in the How and Why when we read the in 6 Step. We take positive characteristics like confidence, and we just distort the hell out of it, and we just twist it and make it crazy and wrong, because that's what we do. You know, our being addicts just means we take everything that normal people do and then just amplify it to the nth degree so that it affects us and everybody around us, and everybody's, you know, dazed and confused when we're done. It says in the book, it says in How and Why, we're humbled by our imperfection, but let there be no mistake. Humility is the ideal state for an addict to be in. Humility brings us back down to earth and plants our feet firmly on the spiritual path we are walking. And at the end it says, we ask ourselves if we're entirely ready to have God remove all of our defects, every single one. If any reservation exists, we feel the need to cling to any defect, we pray for willingness. Being willing doesn't mean, like, if you smoke and you're willing to stop, that doesn't mean you're going to stop today. But we have to be willing before anything is going to happen. I understand 6 and 7 means that I am not capable of reaching these things in my life that I need, these defects. I can't make them go away, but I have to reach as hard as I can with the faith that God will fill the gap, that God will fix that little piece that I'm missing. But if my hand's not out there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I have to do the reach first. The willingness comes, and then the change comes. I didn't know I was, quitting smoking was hard. Quitting smoking was hard. And it's funny because I've been scolded for talking about smoking at a podium in NA, and I don't know why. Like, smoking's bad. Do I need literature or something? I don't know what I need. Quit smoking. It's awesome. I quit smoking and my life is better. I don't cough up multicolored things, and you know what I'm saying? Aren't they like $85 a pack now or something? You know what I'm saying? You can't. You know what I'm saying? You can't smoke anywhere. They won't let you smoke anywhere. I remember in the 80s they talked about smokers' rights, and now we're like, whatever, dude. 15 feet, buddy. Right? You can't smoke anywhere. You can't. You know what I mean? They tax the hell out of it. They're like $1 billion a pack for a pack of cigarettes. But I just want to say this. Like, if my life seems square, people were teasing me because I was going back to my bed at midnight last night. And they're like, hey, you coming down to Tent City? And I was like, I was just at Tent City. They're like, yeah, more! And I'm like, no. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go to bed. And why? I'm like, I don't know. But here's the thing. I want to get better. You know what I mean? I want to be a better person. If I'm up till 2 o'clock every night, then I'll never be able to get up and do anything positive. I won't exercise. I won't change because I don't have the energy to do it. So those are my reasons. And I got to stop. And I'm out of time, and I know that. And I want to say that what I say up here is not supposed to be like finger waving or scolding, or that anybody has to do what I did. It just kills me that I have to feel. For some reason, I feel guilty telling you how good my life is as a result of these changes. Man, that's really good. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't dislike myself at all anymore. Like, I'm okay. It's cool. And when Mom died because of NA, I have no regrets. Everything I was supposed to tell that woman, she knew. Right? And not just the amends, I'm sorry I was such a jerk, but thank you for doing your best. Thank you for doing your best. My mother was an active addict. And I'm sure there's better mothers that were out there, but not mine. That was my mom. She did the best she could do. And I owed her my appreciation for doing the best she could do while being beaten senseless by this disease of addiction. So that's what this program can bring you. That's how good it can be. It can be so good. There's more. Like, don't ever tell anybody you can't do anything. I got a bachelor's degree in this program. I became a supervisor at my job in this program. I'm an active parent in this program. I have a 15-year-old boy. I sat down with a banana and a condom and said, this is how it works. Right? Because it needs to be said. So, don't let anybody ever tell you what the top of it is, and don't worry about saying it out loud. If you did something good, tell everybody. You know what I mean? If you're in college, tell everybody. This is what we're supposed to be doing. If we shine, we give everybody else permission to shine. But if we suck everybody down, and we get to the point where we feel insecure telling people about our successes, that is creepy. Right? That is creepy. And we have so many amazing miracles in this room just waiting to be shared. People, be honest and to let ourselves shine. So I got no good way to end, so I'll keep coming back. Thank you.
Good job.
Where are we at with time? What time's it supposed to end? 4:30? 4:15. We got 5 minutes. Anybody want to share? All right. Can Annie come up and read just for today?